Hey guys, Youngblood with you to summarize the Around the Verse from July 27th, which was focused in on the Austin Studio update, as well as the new Cyclone buggy and ship persistence. In regards to the updates that have been made, LA Engineering has been refactoring shopping, which we've seen in the past episodes, and it's opened up the Austin Studio to be able to start repopulating shops with items. This also includes getting kiosks that are actually functional to open up commodity and item trading. While they're focused on the 3.0 landing zones for what they're doing right now, up next is going to be populating Area 18 shops and then getting them up to the new standards. They're going to be opening up the ability to customize your armor and what you actually want to buy, basically by picking pieces of certain suits that you like. So I assume this means that you could grab light armor for your legs, but heavy for like the torso area. But does that overall speed tie to the overall weight, or, like what other complications does it have? Just because, like if you have the heavy torso armor, does that mean that you can actually carry more weapons even if the rest of your armor is light? I would assume so, but again, we'll have to kind of wait and see. Every ship for 3.0 has now been added to the Price Fixer tool, which breaks down every item on the ship to determine overall pricing, as well as how much it's going to actually cost to respawn and how long the timer is going to be to get it back. This is also being used for new ship balance for performance and preventing ships starting as like over or underpowered. Code support's been completed to allow for your interactions with Miles Eckhart to change depending on your reputation, which impacts what missions are given to you, as well as what's currently available in the verse at that given point in time. Josh Coons finished videos and images for the Cutlass Black and has now been working on white boxes and meshes for the red and the blue. After his first pass on the red and blue are done, Josh is going to move on to the Constellation Phoenix, and the design team is then going to move in on the red and blue to work on them from a gameplay perspective. Now, research and development for their Wildline system has been ongoing, which is a dialogue, I guess more of a system of dialogue, how the NPCs are going to be speaking, including cheers and shouts and greetings, and combines the functionality of the NPC and their tasks that they're currently doing with the gameplay and recordings that the actors have already given. The cockpit and turret experience with button presses continues to move forward, which ties into Item System 2.0 and ties into back-end systems to allow the animation to play based on the events that are actually taking place, like shots to your ship or G-Force events. QA has been working on the new Cutlass Black rework, as well as the ships as they enter the Item System 2.0 and those reworks that are taking place. Additionally, they've been testing the new mobiGlas apps for Star Map, the Overall Manager, Mission Manager, and Mission Board. And in gameplay, they've been working on testing out the new Stamina and Oxygen system, as well as things that are going to be impacting gravity and freefall events, plus some cargo handling pieces. Turbulent has been working on the ship stats page, thank God, and tying into various databases that are used by the developers. This includes finding new ways to label sizes, plus other items like quantum and jump drives to more accurately display what the ships actually have or should end up having. They've been challenged to find a way to include ground vehicles, which is a bit tougher since they have different types of components. Now, with those size changes, weapons are still going to maintain sizes 1 through 12, while other components will be easier to understand small, medium, and large metrics, which is designed to let you compare. For example, if you have a small ship, but components that are medium, those are larger than you'd typically find on a ship of that class. It's also intended to show what you can upgrade to and what you can actually fit on the craft based on that sizing model. Now, there was no mention of capital class components, so I'm not sure if that's no longer a thing, or if they just didn't mention it as it doesn't apply to most ships. They have some spectrum changes coming, but we'll skip those for now. But Turbulent has been actively working on the Delta launcher, trying to get it in place, as well as updating their user interface and adding in some new imagery. In the ship shape, it was focused on the development of the Cyclone, and we did get some new information. For example, we find out that the Nox is going to be in the middle ground of speed between the Cyclone and the Ursa, which is odd. I really figured that it would have been faster than both, considering it's not a ground vehicle, it's technically a ship, it's alien technology. I would have thought it was faster, but it doesn't sound like that's going to be the case. They also mentioned that the Cyclone was built with modularity in mind, but again, the Q&A said that we may not get that, so it sounds like the modularity is more in lore for manufacturer only, which is kind of a bummer unless that ends up changing. Another new piece of information was in regards to the AA variant. It was said to have a size 1 EMP, which is interesting, because if a ship gets too close, you could maybe pop that and run like hell. That adds some value as it was unexpected, and I'm not really sure why that wasn't included in the Q&A, especially considering they also go on to say that there's 2 size 2 missile racks, meaning that you can either opt to carry 2 size 2 missiles or 4 size 1 missiles. So that's a bit of new news and something that probably should have been in the Q&A as well. Now, the behind the scenes for this week was in regards to ship persistence, and while we have some persistence in 2.6, it's not advanced enough to really cover what we'll be doing in 3.0, including tracking cargo and where ships end up. Basically, they're programming it so that if you do pick up cargo, it's no longer where it originated, and it's going to be kept where you put it. And the same goes for ships like the Dragonfly. If you park it in a Cutlass, then log off, it'll still be there when you return. Ownership has been getting some work as well. A ship is something that you can actually own, or an item, or any other object you can purchase and have tied to your account. But you can also have physical ownership of an item as well, which would be something like that you technically have in your possession. So if someone steals your ship, you still actually own that ship, but they're in physical and present owner of it at that time, which gives them the ability to control that ship. Now, that does come with some consequences, like being wanted or having to pay fines, those types of things. And pirates are going to have the option to claim cargo in their manifest, but it's still going to be considered stolen if they do that. So you'd either have to sell it at the right place, or you can choose not to have it claimed, hope that you aren't scanned, or you can put it into a smuggling compartment to try and get around the law. That's the higher risk option, but higher reward than opting for a shady seller that pays less. So while there was a little bit of other information given, this was the most important stuff that I felt like you guys really needed to know. Hopefully this short version got you guys up to speed. Let me know if you have questions. Otherwise, stay tuned for more. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and take care.